Here comes Rob.
Hey,
What's happening?
This is gonna happen, Rob.
Sorry about that. We had 6,000 Zoom links for this, and
It's all good.
it took us 10 minutes to find the right one.
It's okay. I told him
All good.
this is probably going to be the best interview he's ever had in his entire life. So it's no pressure at all.
I wonder how many times the last 3 minutes has happened in the last year over all these different Zooms. I feel 90% of Zoom connects go wrong in some capacity for the first 2 or 3 minutes.
I mean, there's benefits. You don't have to put on real clothes from the waist down. Yeah. You can have nice lighting. So I feel like this is not even what I look like because I have a ring light. There are benefits, but the downsides are the tech issues, not so great.
Well, it looks like you still traveled. You still traveled for this meeting, though. Sam had to get up and get out and put clothes on and go to an actual building.
Oh, we're sorry.
Right?
Yeah, but I got my bathing suit on. Under this, I went to the beach about a month ago, and I got in this put me in this great state of mind. We wrote some songs, and it was really productive. And I got back, and I shifted back into pandemic mode somehow. So I was like, all right, how can I get back to this beach state of mind I was in? So I decided to start wearing a bathing suit.
And flip-flops?
Every day. No, I wear tennis shoes. I wear my Reeboks.
How's the weather right now? Is it bathing suit weather yet? Not really?
Yeah, man. It's been, I don't know if you'd want to jump in the water. The creek's probably still cold, but the weather's gotten nice. Today it happens to be raining. It's kind of dreary, but
yeah.
Spring is, it's gone from those few days of spring that you just wish would last all year into here comes the hot summer, but that's all good.
I can get on this wearing the bathing suit thing all the time because I always feel like I should have just maybe been a surfer or something. It just never it didn't work out for me.
You weren't location wise, you weren't raised in that area.
Hey, maybe there's still time,
Yeah, they say it's never too old for the surfing thing. I've thought about that too.
I thought it was. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was talking about surfing. Have you wake surfed before?
No, I didn't anything skateboard, surfing, skiing. I'm so tall. I'm really bad at it. I got on a paddleboard a couple years ago, and my wife Hannah was just rolling on the thing, and I'm over there I look like a baby deer trying to keep the thing from flipping over. So I have a feeling anything that requires too much balance. I'm so tall.
I think you could.
But that's weird because you're athletic. You should.
Yeah.
I would think that you'd be good at everything.
Well, maybe I need to keep at it, but
I think you can get the hang of it.
It's too risky at this point. But surfing, maybe I could do.
Yeah, because
I think there are different boards. Some boards are more user friendly,
right.
I think, than others.
Yeah, and when you fall, you don't hurt yourself on the cement, so it's not too bad. But I just saw a video of an 85-year-old dude doing a 360 wake surfing, and I'm like, all right, if this guy can do it, I can do it because I've been working on that trick. But talking about being athletic, we saw something. I don't know if we missed this or if we didn't know the right information, but were you playing with the Kansas City Chiefs at some point?
I was like, can we get the whole story? Because it's not enough info on your Instagram. I was like, well, let's ask that.
Yeah, I went. I didn't play for the Chiefs, but I went to I was after my senior year. I worked out, and the scout, they have the scouts come down for what they call a pro day, and they work out for some of the scouts. And got a call from the Chiefs, and they invited me to a free agent mini camp in May. So I skipped my college graduation, go out to Kansas City to be at mini camp with the Chiefs, and I didn't make it on with them, unfortunately, but.
Everything worked out just fine.
I picked the guitar back up. I was really, at that point, I was writing songs on the guitar, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do after college. So I entertained the idea of continuing my football career, but after that didn't work out, I hightailed it to Nashville and got the ball rolling up here.
It was helpful.
Yeah. I was glad to be able to do it. It was cool because I spent put a lot of time into football. I've played since I was 5-6 years old, and then took it more seriously in high school and then in college, and just to be able to progress. And after my putting in your 10,000 hours, it's nice to at least get close to the top tier.
Man, that's awesome. And I like that you said that it worked out okay for them as well, since they got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And he has been quite the quarterback. And I was really surprised at what happened in the last Super Bowl, but hey, he is going to be one of the greatest ever. I think, the whole Tom Brady thing. You can't mess with Tom Brady.
I know. I was surprised. I was a doubter. I didn't think that he was going to be able to pull it off, but yeah, that was pretty spectacular to, what is he, 43 to win his sixth, seventh? I don't even know how many it was, but yeah, but Patrick Mahomes, he's great. He's going to be all right.
Absolutely.
Can I talk to you about something that I've been obsessed with since the last time that we talked to you?
Yeah.
So we asked you this question: if you could go back in time, where would you go? Usually people say like the 70s or something. And you said, I would go back to the time when I rode horses. And the horse lover in me, I was like, I'm going to talk to Sam Hunt all about horses the next time I talk to him. Did you?
Holly has her own horse podcast, so that's how much she.
Wow. I remember connecting on that right before we finished talking.
Like being like such a crazy person. But I was like, wait, Sam Hunt likes horses? Like he had what? I have to know more. When did you start riding? Who taught you how to ride? And what was your horse's name? I know it's just a silly question, but the horse geek in me needs to know.
So my babysitter, every day after school, I'd go to the babysitter in elementary school, and they had horses, and they had one of their sons was 7 or 8 years older than me. He was probably 16, 17 years old. I was probably 8 or 9. I started riding, and I started showing horses with them. They used to show horses, so I would ride in some of the shows, and then I got a horse when I was probably 10. I got a Mustang named Comanche, and of course she was born out west in the wild, but she was caught and tamed, and she was very gentle. So Comanche, and then I had a paint horse named Snowball, and had another horse named Gigolo, which I didn't name, but.
And the Gigolo was the stud of the group, I'm assuming.
I guess so. I don't know that the folks who named him really knew what a Gigolo was. I think they just liked the ring.
That's funny.
It is funny. When I was a kid, I had a horse named Kahlua, which is a licker, which is funny to have a kid when you have like an inappropriate name and you're a kid.
Right.
Wait, so what did you show? Like, are you like cowboying, or you're showing like pleasure? Or, like,
well, these were showing these quarter horses, and these you just sort of do little circles around the ring. But then I got into we had goats and calves. I wanted to get into bull riding, so I had some steers, and I built like a chute out at the we called it the cabin, which is a little farm where the horses stayed. And I would ride these steer calves. I built the chute and tie a rope around. I had spurs and the whole thing. And I wanted to rodeo when I got older. But I mean, I used to rope those goats. I've got these videos of us poor goats, just us chasing them around and roping them and riding these cows. And but I grew up in sort of the outside of the little town where I'm from, and there was plenty of places to ride out where we kept the horses. So I used to go out there, fish and ride horses every day.
That's fantastic. Have you ever talked to Cody Johnson about because he rode bulls and
right? Yeah, I haven't met Cody. I know of Cody, but yeah, he was full on into it. He probably was into it at an older age, which obviously when he was serious into it. But I never got into it that serious. But yeah, local rodeos. We'd go to the local rodeos, and I had a blast doing it. I always
you guys are getting back to the little more of the country life now, right?
Yeah, we I want to get horses someday. I want to get back into it, but we at least have moved outside of the city. I grew up in a rural part of Georgia and out in the woods and around, riding horses and just out in the woods all the time. And living in the city for several years, I haven't been able to be around that as much, but now we're inching our way back. We're outside town about 20 or 30 minutes.
That's awesome.
It's nice, a little more peaceful.
Absolutely.
That is nice. Do you think that you'll ever show horses again? Because I always see all these country music stars and celebrities, eventually they show. Do you ever think that you'd want that again? Or you're just I just want to ride a horse? Yeah,
it was fun for a kid who's learning how to ride, how to show horse, but I don't get the show thing. That I'm not really that into it. I mean, the family who was babysitting me, they were into it, but it was small town, nothing major. But so I don't think I'd ever get into that, but I would like to get into maybe calf roping or something like that. I'd like to get back into that at some point.
That's It looks
it's
hard.
PC, by the time I get back into it, I don't know.
No, I don't know. Like John Party does
away.
that. He does that too, I think.
Yeah.
Like on that as well.
I know I went to a rodeo out in Wyoming a couple years ago, and growing up, I never thought about it. But then I was watching them rope these calves, and they were prodding these bulls, you know, in the chute before and I'm like, this is kind of tough on these animals. I don't know. And of course, bulldogging those calves and that whole thing. But you know, it's a cultural tradition that's been around forever, and it's in my blood. I feel like. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about
your face lit up by the time last time we talked to you. Your face lit up when you said horses, and I was like, Sam Hunt loves horses. This is the best day. Like,
yeah, that was some of the best times.
But you also love music too. So let's talk music.
Let's talk about something that you're super into right now, and that's making hit records. And Breaking Up Was Easy in the '90s is headed for #1, so we're excited for that. And I noticed that a songwriter or a couple, it seems like there's like a very small group of guys and girls that are in on like almost every song. Like we're just talking to Thomas Rhett about Zach Crowell, and I noticed he was on that song with you as well. Is there like, there's like 10, it seems like there's like a group of 10 people in Nashville that just write everything. How do you find your way into that group? Because you've done it and you've written so many songs for so many different people as well.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think that the torch gets passed around in town. But yeah, you're right. It does seem like a small number of people writing the songs. The relationships are the best writing relationships typically are built on some level of personal relationship, because you spend a lot of time together and have a lot of conversations that you wouldn't have in any other context unless you were, going to therapy together. So you get close to people, and it's hard to take on, just start up new writing relationships because they are relatively intimate. But yeah, I think those guys, a lot of the guys that I write with now, I wrote with in the beginning, and none of us had anything going on, and slowly, we found success, and we all branched out and found our own little niche within the industry. But typically, as I've been around now, I've seen that play out where you have little groups of 5 or 6 writers that hit it off, connect with each other, start writing songs, and sort of develop a sound or a thing, and then that catches some traction. And then a lot of the people from the outside will want to come into that camp and like, hey, let's do this thing that y'all do. And that's kind of been the case with the little group that I came up in. And,
I thought it was interesting because we always, we like, to hear the process of songwriting and things like that. And so we ask who else is involved. And I've really just been noticing like 5 or 6 names that everyone, it's like FGL, Thomas Rhett, you like, and it's pretty interesting. So
I think Thomas moved in right behind Zach's house. So I know Thomas is his writing hours with all the kids. He he could pop over to Zach's house, like walk across the street, and they can write songs. So that worked out well for Zach.
That's a very strategic move. That's really smart. A smart move.
I don't think that played into Thomas's decision to move. Really? I think but I think it was a convenience. It was like, well, there's a songwriter that lives next door. Why not just walk over here and write songs? I mean, people are probably beating down Thomas's door to get in rights with him. So I think Zach was the if anybody strategized that, I bet Zach.
And you talked about branching out a little bit. I noticed you also have another song with Sasha Sloan. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I met Sasha a couple of years ago, and I connected with her right off the bat, and we wrote a couple songs, and we were writing for, not really writing for either one of us. We were writing for a Diplo record at the time, and we connected and got back together over Christmas break and wrote a few more songs, and just these songs existed for a while, and then over time we started talking about doing one of them together, and she it worked out with her record cycle, with what she had going on, that this song would fit into kind of what she's doing, and she asked me if I would be on it with her, and I was all for it, and happy to have one of those songs that we wrote back then come out now.
Yeah, I was
so good.
I was just listening to it, man. It sounds awesome. So I just wanted to say it sounds great.
Who are some
Thanks,
other new, one more question, then we'll let you go.
Yeah.
I swear. Who are
It's all good.
who are some other new artists that we should look out for that you absolutely love, that you're like I love this person?
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, Sasha is there. There are those artists that people would consider, I guess, Sasha pop, but she's more singer-songwriter, and I think that's why we hit it off. But she would be an artist too. And I wasn't even familiar with her artist stuff when we started writing together. But the group that has really been doing really well over the past couple of years, Hardy, Michael Hardy, and the guy named Ernest K, who I've been writing with for quite a while. He's a good friend of mine. We actually were on this song together, Breaking Up in the 90s. He's a character, but he's a great writer. He's on a lot of he was on like most of that Morgan Wallen record. A lot of that was Ernest. So Ernest, and I don't know exactly what he's doing with his artist career, but Ben Burgess is another writer he wrote Whiskey Glasses. He's got his own artist thing going on. So that little camp is sort of like the camp that I came up in, where there's 4 or 5 guys who met, hit it off, and created something together. And they all have their own individual spice they bring to the table, right. But it's really working.
And yeah, there's definitely something going on there. They got something going.
They've tapped into something.
For sure. Well, hey man, we're excited for Breaking Up Was Easy in the 90s. It's going to #1, and it's always fun catching up with you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Good catching up with you guys.
Thanks for talking horses.
I love it. Anytime.